We've got our friend Mary Rabago.
How the R is rolling.
Rabago.
I don't
Hi,
know
guys.
exactly
You have to.
how to do that.
I keep telling my clients that they make more money if they can roll their R's.
Okay, all right.
Mary Rabago Productions, and a journalist, entrepreneur, businesswoman. Let's see, we've got KTAR legal analyst Barry Markson back.
Look at that.
What's up,
Barry.
boys?
Tan
Welcome.
from San Diego.
I am not happy to be here.
No, you're not. 118 tomorrow.
45 degrees cooler in San Diego.
And we've got
Literally.
the
5 degrees.
the former Arizona State Senator Michelle Ugenti-Rita. Great to see you again. There you
Thanks
go.
for coming back.
All right. Let's kick it off with immigration, and let's kick it off with raids. We've got some controversy.
Dun, dun, dun.
So this, I'm gonna read a post that is on Arizona State Senator Annalise Ortiz, a Democrat, and she has posted this, and it says, "Alert: ICE activity near Southwest Elementary, cross streets, 15th Avenue and Dobbins." It has the date and it has the time, and it says ICE is present. So this is a warning to people who follow her on social media. And
Instagram, Twitter, etc.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's telling everybody where ICE is. Okay. Does her social media post put ICE in danger?
Oh, for God's sakes.
No.
Why not?
How does it put ice in danger?
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody sees this and they don't like what ICE is doing, and they're a little bit unhinged, because there are people out there that are unhinged, they could go out and create havoc.
They can go to an
that's-
ice
It
office,
absolutely
too.
does. And this is, again, the party of anarchy, of violence, anti-cops. They want to
The
have...
January 6th party, you
They
mean?
want to... So what? What's your
The
point?
traitors. The
What's your
treasonous
point?
traitors
so
who
she
attacked
should
the
be
Capitol?
able to dox
She's not doxing
officers?
She's not doxing anyone. Do you know what doxing means?
Not
What is-
telling
what is-
them their
No
location.
location.
Doxing is
telling
giving out
them
your personal information, like your home
personal
address.
location.
No. Do
Personal
you guys
location.
remember the era of your pile? Do you guys remember what was going on
Unfortunately,
then?
yes.
Do you remember
Ohio?
1950s in
Glorious.
this country?
Yeah.
In many aspects. So are we reliving history in this country, remaking history, I should say
What are you
better?
guys?
But
We're
the main thing,
overthinking this.
freedom of speech, First Amendment, does that
So I
sound
dox-
a bell?
It's
Really? Can you
I
yell
dox the
fire
police
in a
every day.
crowded
Then
room?
by your yes, you can. By the way, I dox the
point-
police every day on the Waze app. Every time I see a cop, I tell other people where the cop is, so that people
Question
don't
is,
get
why are
don't
they
get
so
tickets.
anti-law
I'm doxing.
enforcement?
Thank you,
Why
thank
are they
you.
so
This has
anti-law
not-
enforcement?
This has
Why are we so
nothing to do.
bootlicker? I want to know that.
Okay, hold on a second. We got to get
Why
one,
do they want
one person
law,
at a
or
time.
why do they want our officers to be in harm's way any more than they already are, and why do they want to contribute to potential violence and doxing
There's
and
no
risking their
doxing.
family?
There's
yes,
no doxing.
There is.
Do you know what doxing means? Do you know the definition of
start
doxing
right
is?
there. Thank
Because
you.
doxing doesn't mean there's a police officer over there. Doxing is this is the police officer's home address and his phone number.
This is their
Those
location,
are two different
and you're
things.
risking
They're-
you're
Law enforcement
risking
drives
their,
around this town in giant police cars with sirens on and uniforms on. We know where they are all the
They're
time.
in
Are
public.
we doxing the police every time they're
there
acting
is
as
no
police
expectation
officers?
of privacy in public.
Exactly.
The First Amendment grants us
I
that.
didn't say it, there's two different questions here.
Oh.
It's whether there is a First Amendment question, and then there is this right behavior? Is this appropriate? And what is the motivation? And is this something that we should condone?
Yes.
And that's
Yes,
separate.
please.
100%
That's
condone.
separate
100%
than-
freedom
than-
of speech as a journalist. Freedom of speech, please.
Yes.
Well, wait until an officer gets shot, and then I want to hear about.
So,
what
so
you
let
guys
me
think.
let me tell everybody, if they've just joined us, we're inside the war room, and what we're talking about is Arizona State Senator Annalise Ortiz is putting on her social media where ICE is in Phoenix, and we're talking about.
So what could happen? What is the point
What
of doing
could
that?
happen?
Yeah, what is the
well, we
point of
shouldn't
doing
send
that?
police out
Yeah,
anywhere.
I
because
mean,
what
in
could
this day and
happen-
age, God only
no,
knows.
no, no.
Police are being killed
she's,
now.
She's putting it out on social media, and she's begging something to happen.
No, she's putting it out on social media because what?
please.
Because
That's
what?
an interpretation of
And
yourself.
Let me
There's
get-
nothing in.
What's
Because
the point
what-
of her doing it?
because-
What's the point?
because
Let
what
me
I-
get Barry in here.
Because what ICE is doing, and what a lot of people, and you may be able to speak to this better than I can.
Thank you.
But a lot of people in the community, ICE is pulling people over who are citizens of the United States. ICE is
Many.
you're making a face, but it's true. They're literally pulling people over who are citizens. This is going back to what we did here with 1070 in Arizona before.
Thank you.
That because you have darker skin or you're Hispanic, suddenly you're a suspect. it's wrong the way they're handling it. If you want to deport criminal people who are here to commit crimes, who are illegal immigrants, if you want to deport people who did something who are bad, violent people, I think most everybody's going to be fine with that. But a lot of what they're doing now, that's not it. And by the way, ICE right now is deporting less people than Obama did, deporting less people than Joe Biden did last year at this time. They're not being more effective. They're just being more mean. And they're doing things that are bad for the Hispanic community in the United States.
Barry, you're in the business of being mean, so there's that.
Whoa.
And
Okay,
second of all,
I'm not in that business, and let me say,
personal attack.
if you and I are walking down the street where
now all of a
ICE
sudden
is,
you're offended.
no, I'm
Not you,
Okay,
Barry,
I
go
was going to
ahead.
say, so Michelle, if you and I are walking, they'll come and question me, especially I'm in a ponytail, no makeup, you name it. I'm just
You don't
minding my
know
business.
that's gross assumption.
It's actually
No.
that's not an assumption. It's
I've
happening.
been doing
It's
it for
happening.
You're just
years.
labeling all of
No.
ICE and law enforcement
No.
as
I speak with
racist,
facts.
Is violating the Fourth
radical,
Amendment of the United States.
Yes, it is.
A-holes, and that's
Violating the Fourth Amendment of the United States.
and if there's incidences of that, they can be handled. But
No,
to,
they're
No,
not.
they're
Yes.
not.
Oh,
This
I'm sorry.
administration's
Oh my
not going to
God,
hold them to account.
You are
No.
using a
Look,
broad brush
I
to
am
label
not.
all law enforcement. And first of all, you want to know here's the reality. The public sentiment is not with you. Is not with the both of you. That is why Democrats have been wholeheartedly unelected in this
is
country
beyond
because
politic
law
parties.
and order
This
is
has
what
nothing
people
to
want.
do
I'm not
with
running for
Democrats.
office. There's right and wrong.
Can I
I don't
want to
be on the side of wrong.
Can I
Okay.
get to
Right
words?
and
So I'm
wrong.
not going to be on the Nazi side.
So let's get Mary Rabago in here.
Okay, this is way beyond political parties, not Democrats, not Republicans. This is about humanity. And I'm sorry. Yes, like Barry said, if the ICE was persecuting, as our current president said, criminals in this country, not mothers that are showing up for their appointment in immigration with kids, and we see those images left and right. This is the country of immigrants. This is a melting pot. This is how America was built. Your ancestors had to be at least one immigrant where you don't look like the natives. I don't even look the natives. I'm Mexican. So there's a lot going on right now. This is beyond being Democrat or Republican. This is about the lack of humanity in the way things, and he is only doing this, the administration, to create fear and division,
Of
which is
course.
exactly what is being the
Well,
trend.
people who break the law should be fearful.
I'll give you an example, though. I have someone who's basically in my family, not an actual family member, but somebody who's very close to us. And he's an immigrant. He's been here legally. He had a green card. He was working for a long time, working to be a citizen. And he's going to get sworn in a week from Friday. So he's going to become a U.S. citizen a week from Friday. He had to go to a hearing in July at the courthourhouse. And he called me and he said, I don't know what to do. Should I go?
This is super interesting because this is happening. Yeah.
And this is a guy who's from Ukraine. He's whiter than white. He's not. This has nothing to do with anything else.
Doesn't look like Mari.
And he looks like me. And he was concerned that he was going to go to his hearing and turn around and ICE was going to grab him in the courthouse and take him away. Now, that's what's happening right now. Is that okay? He's here legally. He's doing everything right.
Look, my mom
That's
is
what's
an
happening.
immigrant, so spare me the stories because I come from an immigrant family myself. I just
Most of us
don't
do.
wear it on my sleeve and try to use it as a prop. So I get it.
I don't use it.
But the reality is that illegal immigration crossing the border has wreaked havoc on our public safety, has cost us economically in this country.
Immigrants create crime at lower
I
rates
have
than
a quick
Americans.
question.
So we
I'm
have to
tired of
have a
hearing this,
secure
please.
border. We have to have an
Okay.
immigration process.
Michelle, you keep saying it keeps costing on economy. Tell me
We
facts.
don't have
Tell me.
endless resources in this
Who takes
country.
the
I have
Healthcare
I've had
issues.
no negative effects from immigration.
You don't
None
know
whatsoever.
that.
I've had
Michelle,
positive
no,
effects.
wait,
let me
I am
ask you
tired
this
of
then.
Positive
Let me
effects.
ask
One
you
at a
this.
time.
What is it that
Positive.
then okay,
I
is
want
your
a free movement
position-
of labor.
All
Free movement of labor.
So is your position we should have just a wide open Biden
I think we should
border?
let people who want to come in this country come in this country.
Okay, and you are in the minority.
That's okay.
And
I
that's
believe
why
in
we
free
have a
labor.
democratic system and
Free labor.
Well, not free labor,
Free
free
market
movement.
and free movement of labor.
Well,
That's
that
what
is-
I believe in. Yes.
Strong borders is
Again,
important.
I am so
Every
t-
other country in
Michelle, you need to let me talk
Here's-
because it's three of
Please
us in
proceed.
here.
Go
Please,
ahead.
thank you so much. So I am so tired of hearing this since my mainstream media times and all that keep arguing that immigrants are a high economic cost to this country. Tell me in what facts. Immigrants that are not legal, they cannot get health care. They cannot get none of that. But They pay taxes. They consume in the grocery stores. They buy cars. They pay rent. They pay electricity. So tell me, where is that cost
May I
to
ask,
you?
So is your position that we should not have a secure border?
No,
Then I
that
don't
has
get it.
never been my position. You're going to another extreme.
No, I'm not, though,
No,
because you're
I have never
saying-
said open borders, and
That
I
is
never
what you're
said,
saying. You're
no,
saying
I'm
open
not.
borders.
No, I'm not.
Well, how does someone come in here illegally then?
How does someone come here
Violating
illegally?
visas?
Tell me. No, tell me
Crossing the border?
No, wait. This is an interesting question. You gotta let me do it. How an immigrant can come legally right now
Let
to
me-
work in the United States
Should
without
you
waiting
be? Should
22
you be?
years?
So let me just ask: should you be in this country illegally with no consequence? Is that your position?
How many?
Should someone be here in this country
Why
illegally
do
without
you have
consequence?
over a million?
Just, is
People
that your
illegally.
position?
No, it's not my position. You're
Okay.
not answering my question. You're going
I'm-
around
Okay.
the bush
It's
and
a civil
answering.
misdemeanor. It's like a speeding ticket.
Yes.
But no, but it's
we're
an
gonna hold-
It's a
important
speeding ticket.
baseline. If you
No.
agree with that, I
It's a speeding
fundamentally
You're not
ticket.
answering my
Okay.
question.
All right,
You're
all right,
answering me
all
with
right,
another
okay.
question.
You
Okay,
can't
so
answer.
we're in the
Yes.
middle of the war room. We've got Barry Markson.
I think it's important to point out that I'm the calm one today.
How about this? Is Arizona about to build its own version of Alligator Alcatraz in Marana, Arizona? That is apparently in the works, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, they're not going to use alligators, but are they?
Not
Not
in the
going to last
desert?
long, I'll tell you that.
Scorpions.
Snakes.
Say,
There's a facility that has been bought.
It was I abandon's the wrong term. Wasn't being used.
Yeah, prison.
Prison.
It's been
a
sold,
private company.
sold to a company that runs immigration detention centers.
Yeah.
Now, again, we've had Wendy Rogers, say, "Oh, this is great. We're gonna do. We're
As long as I get to put her in it, I'm good.
So what could Arizona do here if they were to build something like this?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, is it going to be a regular detention center, or is somebody going to go out of their way to say, I like what they're doing in Florida. Let's make Arizona's version of it.
Well, I think that's what they're talking about. I think a lot of that's for show. I mean, a lot of news attention on this Alligator Alcatraz in Florida, which, by the way, there's all sorts of environmental issues now. They're not sure they're going to be able to use it. There's all sorts of things going on there. But look, Trump's talking about needing places to put all these people that he's rounding up. But I will tell you, they're actually deporting less people than other presidents have. So I don't know that we need all this extra space that they keep saying. I'm not sure why it's been so difficult.
Well, the deportations in July were down.
Yeah.
Yes, like the jobs, right? That's another topic for later on. I'm sorry.
We're gonna get to that later.
What about Tent
Hold on.
City?
Are you tying the jobs?
do you support Tent City?
Okay, I'll let you guys go.
don't.
I mean, that's good.
No, I
Yeah.
don't.
I mean,
no, I don't.
you said it. I like it.
Inhumanity way of treating people. No, I do not. I do not support that. Just like what's happening right now, where they're not raiding areas where the criminals are not going after criminals. They're going after families that have been here for many years, doing the right thing, paying taxes, being good citizens, waiting for their turn
They're
to
not
get
citizens.
to that. To become citizens, to become residents of this country, and they're going about it the right way. But they're being treated like criminals when they're not, or they're running after farm workers. They're picking the food that you put on the table and I put on the table. Is that the right?
Yeah, I mean,
America?
Michelle, there's an example here right in Arizona. It was in Peoria of a woman she's Chinese.
Yeah,
she's been
and
here for
I
over
know.
20
We talked
years.
about it
Oh,
a
okay.
few weeks ago.
Yes.
And I mean, is that okay? So she's productive. She has businesses. She employs people. She's married to a U.S. citizen. She has children that are here who are U.S. citizens. Is that really the person
we
need
talked
to
about
deport?
that a few weeks ago on this show, and the
Yes.
issue with that is we had a failed immigration system that should have dealt with her illegality, decades ago, and she had many, many warnings, and she decided to roll the dice, and it's a perfect example of why you do need to enforce the law, and I think she serves as a lesson.
That's going forward, and we can certainly say that. But for all the people that are here, are those the people that our resources should be pointed at? To go find the person who's a business owner and productive and has children and is married to a citizen, and that's who we're spending our attention on, not the criminals, not the people who just recently came to the
bad
country.
hombres?
But the law is the law. If we wanted, to your point, then Barry, if we wanted to have different considerations, then those need to be drafted and written in our statute. But if you're going to have a law that says it's illegal to
So
cross
they can
the
come
bo-
and change it
Listen,
again, like they're
I'm really
trying to do.
being, very matter of fact about it. Then you have to have a system that adheres to that, and so that we have a rule of law and we have standards. If we don't think that's the right standard, then address it statutorily.
Let me
statewide,
let me get one thing in before
and
we
so
have
that
to break.
people have
Yes.
the understand.
So somebody mentioned the farm workers.
I did.
Okay. Trump suggested this is towards the farm workers. He said people who live in the inner city are not doing farm work. He said Hispanic migrants do it naturally.
It was so racist. It's unbelievable.
Let me read the rest of it.
The
Hang on.
literal definition of racism.
What Trump said, what happens if they get a bad back? They don't get a bad back, because if they got a bad back, they die. So I think he's obviously what he's saying
trying to
is
make an exception.
They naturally know how to do the work in the farms.
Yeah.
And does that mean he wants to keep?
Yeah, he
them
wants to
there
make
in
an
the farm?
exception,
Can I-
unlike
Yes,
what you just said
Mari.
for farm workers.
Go ahead,
Please,
Mari.
2 words. It's embarrassing for a president to give that kind of statements as he keep going on and on and on. Not only racist, but embarrassing in so many ways of intelligence. But the other thing is, and what is really frustrating for many people, and this is regardless of what aisle you are of the immigration, is the way he's going. He made those comments after he started being pressured by big-time farmers.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the labor to pick up their crops, and they're losing millions and millions of dollars. What's going to happen in Yuma, the capital of the lettuce? What's going to happen if they keep going after farm workers? And at the end of the day, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, you're going to be paying the price.
Yeah, but
We will.
Trump sounds like he's going to make an exception for farm workers.
Possibly.
I do think what Michelle said, I don't disagree entirely that we are supposed to be a country of laws and there is a rule of law. But what we're really talking about is prosecutorial discretion. Prosecutors and law enforcement, they decide where to put their resources. And that's the question here. It's not whether somebody broke the law and coming to the country legally. It's which of those people are we going to go after. We can't get everybody. But should we be focused on those people or people who are actually criminals and doing something harmful as opposed to those who are helping?
We got to leave it on that. We're out of time. Coming up, we got the second half of the War Room. We're going to shift from immigration, deportations, Arizona's Alligator, Alcatraz. Let's go to something local. Arizona's ESA program. So this is where any Arizona family, regardless of income, can obtain an education voucher. And a typical ESA scholarship is like $7,000 or $8,000. And what we're finding is people are using it for buying a $16,000 cello.
Some people.
Some are buying Rolex watches. We've got private music lessons that it's almost $7 million.
Trips to San Diego Zoo.
Correct. Okay.
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld.
And there is no oversight because only 12 people are looking into what.
About 90,000 accounts.
How do we fix this? Because we're going to go bankrupt. This is not working.
Yeah,
Barry?
it's going to cost the state of Arizona over $1 billion this year. There's almost no oversight at all to the point where the superintendent of public instruction, Tom Horn, has said any submission of up to $2,000, we're just going to give it to you. It's just automatic.
Under $2,000,
yeah,
we don't look at
it. We don't audit it.
No, they said they're going to go back and audit it later, but they still only have 12 people, so that's really not going to happen. So that's what's going on. And then the ones they are looking at that are over that, they're finding some abuses. Now, do the vast majority of people who get these things abuse them? No. I mean, let's not act like everybody's doing this. But as in any government program, there's fraud. There's people who are using it fraudulently. And I think we would all agree that the money shouldn't go to buy a Rolex watch and it shouldn't go to pay for vacations. And Channel 12 and Craig Harris is doing a very nice job of going through this. They've done requests for documents. They've gone through it, and
they're being met with some resistance.
Yes,
with going after these documents.
They definitely are. But what we're finding is, and this is the part I don't understand. If you want to have this program, and people who support this program, and I'm not a big fan, but if you support this program, wouldn't you want to have things in place to make sure there's accountability and that there's responsibility, that it's being used appropriately? Why is it a bad thing that Tom Horn is saying, I want to make sure it's not being abused and there's no fraud? That's a good thing. But the MAGA folks, like Turning Point USA, they literally found somebody to primary him, another Republican to primary a Republican, because all he said, I like the program, I support the program, we're trying to do everything right. All he said is, I don't want people to abuse it or for there to be fraud. Why is that a bad thing?
Michelle, you've been in these meetings in the legislature, and do they care that some of this money is being misused?
Absolutely, and they have passed reforms, and I think you have bipartisan support for this program. I mean, look at the last 3 years under Hobbs. What has she championed that radically changes this program in any way? Nothing.
Because that's not true. Actually,
I think fundamentally she supports it because the public's there and they support it. They understand that K through 12 public education has been an epic failure. They bought way too into wokeness. They are not results oriented, and they're a pit of wasted money. So the public supports the dollars following the student so that families have the ability to put money and their efforts behind educational opportunities that best support, their individual kids' needs. And that's been highly popular.
What's this, if I'm not mistaken, and please if you correct me, it's mostly used by families that have kids with special needs that need speech classes or things like that.
Originally.
That's not true. That's what it used to be.
Back in the day.
Started like that.
now.
Okay.
So what it is now, the governor did propose a cap so that wealthy families couldn't use it. What the majority of people who are using it, though, Madi, are wealthy families who already were sending their kids to private schools. They were already paying for it themselves or using the tax credit, and now they're getting paid back. So they're getting $7,500 or $15,000 or $22,000, depending on how many kids they have, from the government. So it's rich families getting money back from the government to send their own kids to private school. That's where the majority of the money goes. And Governor Hobbs did propose a cap. Say if you have an income of this level, you're not going to be able to use it. Things like that. Republicans
like
said no.
means testing.
Right. I don't know why.
She barely put any effort into it. I mean,
I don't disagree.
I don't know why she didn't make it a red
otherwise,
line.
I mean, she didn't die on the sword. This wasn't something that
We
was.
asked her why didn't she refuse to pass a budget unless this was.
I was here,
exactly
yeah.
right. That's exactly
Yeah,
my point. She obviously doesn't feel like she's on the right side of this issue because I think to Barry's point, I mean, spending money on Rolexes and trips to SeaWorld is not what people think this money should be used for. But people understand that we have a broken K through 12 system. They have been unhappy for decades, and this has really freed up a lot of families to now have an educational direction and opportunity that's tailored fit for their kids' needs. And it's not a one-size-fits-all in education.
So let me ask you this, and I appreciate this discussion. I didn't know this. Some of the law is written that if you're, for example, if you're homeschooling your kid and you get $7,500 a year and you don't spend that money, you can keep the money in the account and use it to send your kids to college.
Correct.
So the state doesn't give me any money to send my kid to college. I mean, they might go to a state-funded
ridiculous.
school, but. Is that okay, Michelle? I mean, is that okay with you? As even if you agree,
unspent dollars can be used for
Well,
college.
I thought it was K through 12.
No.
I didn't think it was college,
Right.
and that's what people are using it for.
And it's tens and tens of millions of dollars. Is that okay?
We subsidize higher ed all the time, and
But we do it for everybody. We don't just do it for people who are sending their kids to private school.
This is accessible to anyone. Anyone could use this program. That's why it's called.
Not if you go to public
universal.
school. Not if you go to public. No, if I send my kids.
That is not true. It's not everyone, and it's
But
not
you have the
to
option
access
to
to
use this.
everyone.
The opportunity to use it is accessible to everyone.
I sent my kids to public school. The government did not
So
come
did
in and
I.
say, "Here's $7,500 a year to send your kid to college." No,
Guys, I'm
nobody
making
did
the
that.
math. I'm the oldest of 9. Imagine the money that my parents would make with this program, right? And being very sarcastic in that aspect, obviously. So
Just a little.
There's no access to it in it. So if it's abused by a few, and is being largely given to high-profile or high-income families, then it's not right.
It's not given to them. There are families that are taking advantage of it. It's anyone could use it. It's available to anyone.
But don't you think that the way it's structured,
We could have
people of means are going to be the ones who can take advantage of it. When you think about, I'm going to send my kid to a school on the other side of town. Well, somebody's going to have to drive them there or get them there. Like,
I think there's
there
a
are
larger
certain
conversation that we have. I mean, there's a reason why this program has exploded.
Because you're giving away free money.
No, it's because you have a K through 12 institution that is in.
Yeah, actually, that's not.
I'm looking to pick up
true.
kids. They're money makers at this point.
Let me get Barry in real quick. Last word on this, Barry.
Actually, that's not true. The vast majority, if you look at the zip codes, the parents, the families that are using this, the vast majority of them are not coming from areas where schools are bad. They're coming from wealthy areas where schools are good, but parents want to do something else. Look, it was the same thing when charter schools started. My kids went to a good elementary school, and people still left to go to the charter school because the perception was it was better. The testing wasn't better. It didn't end up being better.
Your
but that
opinion.
was the. It's not my opinion. Those are the statistics.
That's
those
probably
are
not what
facts.
those parents would say.
Yeah, they'd say, I thought this might be better, so I sent my kid. That's fine.
We're
I
going
have
to
no
leave it at
problem with
that.
school choice.
We're going to leave it at that. The ESA topic and issue is not going anywhere.
So I'm old enough to remember last week when we got a jobs report that led to the firing of the person who did the math. Will this bad jobs report and the firing of the statistician for lack of better terms, Is this the end of real data as we know it? Could we ever believe another jobs report again?
I want to answer that question.
Oh,
I don't love Trump. I don't hate Trump. I like some of the things he does. The other stuff makes me crazy. But I think when you fire somebody like this, does anyone really think he's going to install someone decent, or is it going to be a total puppet? And then they're going to pump out fake numbers to boost his image.
Yeah.
right.
I think that's
he's
what's
going to
going
call
to
up
happen.
and tell them what the number is.
Yeah, and even if
That's
he
the
does,
plan.
and even if he doesn't now, let's say he puts, because to be honest with you, this is really just collecting data and putting it out there. But even if he doesn't do that, that's the perception, and it's this is what authoritarians do. They don't like the information. They fire the guy who gave them the information, and the information was bad. It wasn't just a low jobs report for July at 73,000 jobs. It took the prior 2 months, June and May, down from 258,000 jobs to like 50,000 total. I mean, it was really low. So
But jobs and data revisions are common.
All the
and
time.
it's happened for decades.
Well, because the first Friday of the month, it's an estimate.
yeah.
And then they actually go
Right.
back and count, and so they have to readjust the ones.
They
and
literally-
they were wildly off on their estimates.
They literally call employers and say, "How many people did you hire?" And they call people. That's a survey. And but then later they actually get real numbers and they can figure it out. So before anybody says, "Well, the Biden administration did this and the numbers all benefited Biden at the or Kamala at the end of last year," that's not true. The numbers were bad at the end of last year, and they weren't helpful for Kamala. So it's just Trump talking and saying things that aren't true. This was bad, and Trump doesn't like numbers, and this is just one more step, one more brick in this authoritarian wall that he's building, and we're all just kind of watching it happen as if it's not a big thing.
And
It's
regardless of the
scary.
party that you represent, we are all just watching it. He
Yeah.
always does this. It doesn't impact positively his image, and he goes after them. He talks without facts. We have seen that. And if you saw also the former person in that position that was in Trump's era said that the one that got fired had nothing to do. They get the documentations of the data on Wednesday and just report it. So it's just somebody had to
They're
be...
a math nerd.
Yes, but the point is we're missing the big fact
You guys,
here.
he fired
No,
one
no.
bureaucrat. Oh my God!
no, it's
Everybody,
not the
you know,
bureaucrat.
get
Not
their
the bureaucrat.
you
No,
know,
no, no.
your-
This is
everyone's
not
panties
it.
isn't a bunch about it,
No,
but it's
this
one
is,
guy.
Michelle, this is not about one person, or what. It's about the way he behaves constantly.
But isn't it
by
about
whatever
numbers?
No,
Like,
it's not.
no,
but
I think it's
that's
numbers.
that we're
You're
gonna have in
undoing
the country
4
with the
years
economy.
of detrimental, terrible, harmful policies from Biden. You know, things are going to be a little rocky, and it's not the only barometer
It has nothing
for,
to do
for
with
the
that.
economy.
I am so
just-
sorry. I
It's
disagree
true.
with you completely.
I just
No.
want to create
The overall health for the economy, you've stock, inflation, consumer spending. There are a lot of things that go into determining
Low job numbers
where
make
the
him look
economy
bad.
is.
That's the
Except- except
reality.
for this-
I get it.
That's
I'm
the
not here
All
to
right,
tell
let
you.
me get Barry in.
Except for the,
I'm just telling you,
what,
it's moving.
What Michelle's saying is right. There's a lot of things in the economy, but except for the stock market, which is very good right now, everything else is down. So
It's
I mean,
it's actually not very good.
Except
No, it's
inflation
not.
is up. So inflation is up. Gas prices are up. Egg price. I mean, all that grocery prices are up. And
Not
the
according to Trump, though.
manufacturing jobs are
He
down.
doesn't go grocery shopping, by the way.
We have less manufacturing jobs right now than we did at this time last year in the United States. These are
You
things
think
that are,
this would all be better under Biden,
yeah,
Harris?
it was better under Biden. Under Biden,
Oh my!
last quarter, the first quarter of this year, the GDP was in the negative. That didn't happen under Biden.
There was
once
no
we
free
got past
economy under Biden.
And Biden
That
wasn't
was
running the White House.
socialist.
But we're losing that point here. That image that we're having worldwide now. Our economy, it's not stable.
Look, it's gonna
not
be
in good
bumpy.
sense. And then if he reacts like this to everything that attacks his image,
His ego.
especially his ego.
I think he
big
should
time
fire
ego, so
anyone
think
who
about it.
attacks him. That's what I think.
Well, he pretty much goes after everyone.
I
I
don't
don't
wanna-
know if you have seen
News
the news
organizations,
lately. Yes.
everything, yeah.
There's
I
no
don't wanna-
freedom of speech.
You're
I don't
There's
wanna lose-
nothing.
I don't
I
wanna
hope
lose-
he comes after
You're
me. I'm
fired.
looking for the day.
Barry, last word.
The point of this is he fired somebody whose whole job was just to put out the truth, to put out factual numbers.
Yeah, you don't
There's
want
no evidence that the numbers weren't accurate, and he fired that woman for no reason other than he didn't like the numbers.
Are we going to
And-
get numbers that we trust?
No.
That's the thing.
No,
that's
never
we're
gonna
not,
worry people.
and that's a problem.
All right,
No.
that's the war room.
Especially
Thanks
with the
again.
Fake media.
Appreciate all of you in being in here, for goodness sakes. Mary Rabago, Michelle Ugenti-Rita, and Barry Markson.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.